Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexalex here. Got another Master Duel video for you. I got some more gameplay for Onomat Ryzeal. This has actually been the deck that I've been doing the most laddering with in my spare time, and I've been having a ton of fun with it. So, for this first game, we're going to be going up against Ogdoadic Mitsurugi, and this will be a pretty standard going first duel that I'll not only kind of re-explain in a way the turn 1 combo line, but really show you how to use those disruptions as well. I also think I had like 4 or 5 people spectating this duel as I was playing it live, so some of you might have already seen this game in particular, but yeah, the new live spectating feature is kind of cool. Although sometimes I'll be like watching a YouTube video while comboing and then I'll mess up and 3 people will be watching and I'm like, no, I'm sorry. But anyway. Yeah, so love this line because even if your opponent nibbed you at this stage, you would still have the Gagaga coat in your hand and be able to summon that and continue your combos. I touched on this a little bit in my tier list video, but I've seen some people talking about the fact that they think Ryzeal is bad now. I've seen comments to the effect of like, I've seen multiple kinds of comments saying that Ryzeal is bad, right? I've seen some saying, oh, the limits were too harsh, Ryzeal didn't deserve it, now Malice is just, you know, the best deck again. And I've seen other people saying, lol, Ryzeal, hard carried by Ouroboros and Baguska, now that they're banned, Ryzeal is bad now. And I think people who are saying that are super jumping the gun. For one, we only just got Eclipse Twins in, so we're only just starting to see the power of how that can help Ryzeal. 2, although the Ryzeal limits were, you know, pretty extensive, I don't think they were necessarily unwarranted, and they don't make the deck unplayable by any stretch of the imagination. You know, it's true that you can't really play pure Ryzeal anymore, but it's also true that even before the limits, pure Ryzeal was one of the worst ways to play the deck. Magistus Ryzeal was better, and Mitsurugi, I think, was better as well. I think Mitsurugi is still probably... I don't know, it's hard to say if it's actually better than Onomat Ryzeal. I think they're actually roughly equal. It's just kind of like 2 differing stances, right? Do you want to play the Onomat stuff and have more extension through hand traps, or do you want to play the Mitsurugi stuff and have a better, like a slightly stronger end board? I think at the end of the day, Mitsurugi is not that much less consistent than the Onomat variant, so I think that Mitsurugi Ryzeal is still likely better, but I really do Onomat Ryzeal's ability to, like, not care about the majority of hand traps, right? Obviously, Maxi, Fua, Droll still suck, but Valor, Imperm, Ash, you're almost immune to those if you start with the Onomat engine because of the additional searches you get. And even Nib, you know, as we've demonstrated, there are so many lines that play through Nib. Yeah, I got a little worried when my opponent used Triple Tactics Thrust here, and then they did Snake Rain for Ogdoadic stuff, and I was like, oh, okay. Like, you'll notice I'm not using my Detonator Pops or Ryzeal Cross the Negate at all yet. And that's not because I'm toggled off or I forgot about it. I just don't care about anything my opponent's doing. Even this Wosu. Even when they use that to tribute away my Detonator here, that's actually not going to matter because of the Eclipse Twins. I can just bring the Detonator right back. Ignoring the fact that I also have plugin face down too. This is another reason why I really like Ryzeal right now. Particularly Onomat Ryzeal, which has room to run plugin. I like having multiple layers of insurance for your detonator. And not even just insurance, but also just multiple waves of detonators, right? Because if I wanted to, I could pop a card with detonator, then use the second pop on itself, and then plug into revive for 2 more materials, which would net me +1 pops on my detonator overall. Oh yeah, this was really funny here. The Ogdo Abyss effect says I have to send all face-up monsters from the field to the graveyard, except 1 summoned from the graveyard, which in this case was only the Duo Drive, which didn't have materials on it anyway. I am going to use my last detonator material in order to destroy my opponent's face-down card, which ended up being the Ragnaraka Hunting Dance. Which wouldn't have really done anything anyway, but obviously wanted to get rid of the face-down card there. Now I can use Eclipse Twins to revive Duo Drive. Duo Drive attaches another material, and now my Duo Drive is already set up in order to be able to search again without even having to Xyz summon it. And I can detach the other material from Gallant Granite, keeping a material under Duo Drive, keeping my Ryzeal Cross live as well. The Eclipse Twins, it just added so much to what Ryzeal is capable of. Yeah, I think the people who are saying that Ryzeal is bad after literally just the first weekend of the new pack, at the time this video goes out, you know, it'll probably be a week from now, but at the time I'm recording this, it's like Sunday. Like, it's been maybe 2 or 3 days, you know, total since the pack has dropped, and that's not an uncommon thing to see in Yu-Gi-Oh! And just people in general, right? Jumping the gun with predictions, you know, the immediate second the pack comes out, you know, people are saying the deck is dead or whatever, but nah, I think Ryzeal is still a tier 1 deck for sure. But this game really just showed, you know, how good Ryzeal is when it goes first, and also goes, you know, fairly uninterrupted. But I had some games that did not play out that way. Let's see some of those. Alright, let me show you something a little more back and forth. This is going to be a going first game up against Sky Striker. Yeah, I haven't seen a ton of Sky Striker on ladder, but a decent bit. Okay, so this hand looks really solid. We got Ice plus the cross. They're going to max C, but we have a cross out for that, so should be fine there. Let's see what ends up happening here. We're going to send the max C there, of course, and then main phase 1, normal summon Ice Ryzeal. I don't need to get Star here because I already have Cross and a plug-in. Like, I don't have any more Ryzeal spell traps left in deck. Otherwise, I think I would have gone Star there to not only set up a spell trap, but also, yeah, play around Joel a little bit better. But here I can at least go Ext, send Aggregator, and make Detonator with the Cross plus plugin. So format Detonator, Cross plugin, I'm feeling relatively good about where I'm at here, going into my opponent's 4-card hand. Leading with Rhoda, they're going to grab Rose here. Normal summon Ray, activate to special summon Rose. Now here, I don't know. I think I could have activated Detonator to try to pop Ray. They chain Ray, I chain Cross. But I didn't want to give up my Cross negate so early, so I decided to just let the Rose get summoned and see where they go from here. They're going to go into Hayate and then go Battle. And I'm actually going to use the Cross effect on the Hayate. 1, Cross can actually be used during the damage check because it negates on resolution. 2, the reason I decided to negate this is because I'm looking at my opponent's graveyard. There's no Sky Striker spells in here, and they have 2 cards left in hand. So I'm thinking they probably don't have access to any Sky Striker spells right now, and I need to keep them off of that. So I'm going to use Cross to negate the Hayate. They're going to then make Zeke, which is threatening to banish my Detonator. We're going to chain Detonator to pop itself, and then I can bring it back with the plugin. I don't use Aggregator here because Sky Striker Ace Zeke doesn't have any more relevant negates. Unfortunately for me, one of their last 2 cards was Call By, so I actually don't get to use plugin to revive the Detonator. Also, Detonator will be negated on my next turn, but that's not the most relevant, although it could easily matter. Okay, they're going to go main phase 2 Shizuku and then end phase Shizuku F in order to add the linkage. While still in end phase, they can activate the linkage here, tag out the Shizuku, and go for Ace 0. Now Ace 0 gets to add Engage from their deck to their hand, and they can threaten to pop a card on my turn. We do have the 7th Tachyon here in order to find more plays. But we also have the Ryzeal Cross Draw. I'm going to start with that because I'd like to keep Droll and Lockbird for their turn. Unfortunately for me, their last card was exactly Droll and Lockbird. So for the last 2 cards in their hand to be Droll and Call By, literally the exact things they needed here. It was admittedly kind of frustrating, I won't lie. I was a little bit salty here. If I had led with 7th Tachyon, though, I don't think things would have been any better. I would have had to have put back Droll and Lockbird. I would have grabbed an Ice Ryzeal. They would have drolled me. I would have normal summoned Ice Ryzeal, summoned something else, but then 0 can still pop one of my 2 level 4 monsters, and then now I can't make any plays. I tried to use Imperm here in order to hopefully dodge lethal, but yeah, they can just go into another 0. And then that's still lethal that they have on board. So yeah, this one was really close. I think it came down to my opponent having exactly those 2 cards. Although to be fair, if their last 2 cards in hand weren't exactly Droll plus Call By, it probably would have been Sky Striker spells. And then, of course, from there, the game would have just played out entirely differently. So yeah, that was a close one though. Definitely well played on my opponent's part. Okay, so this next duel, this is going to be up against Ignister. Technically, I guess Math Mech Ignister, but Ignister always plays a little Math Mech package, so don't really feel the need to point that out. Now, we did open quite a few good hand traps here. We got the Fua and the Sea as well as Droll. They're going to lead with the Ignister Island, and then as soon as they activate, I'm going to fire off the Fualos first. Always got to do Fua first in case they have a counter, and then we'll do the Max Seed. Alright, so let's see what they end up special summoning here off the Ignister Island. Looks like it is going to be backup at Ignister. I'm not going to use the Imperm on it, because if they want to keep comboing, that's perfectly fine with me. I'm also not going to use Droll and Lockbird after that search, because one, I figured they would probably end their turn after that, but two, I actually still need to find a starter here, right? I mean, technically I could just normal summon Gaga Coat, and then special summon Ganbara Knight, and then start my plays that way, but I'd really rather not gamble with that only option. I'd really rather have something else here, in case my opponent has multiple negates, which, spoiler alert, they will. Thankfully, we did find the Go-Go-Go Goblindeberg here, so here's their first negate, an Effect Veiler. It's going to stop the Goblindeberg from being able to summon out from the deck, but thankfully, we have the Extender here. Another reason why I love the Onomat engine, especially when paired with Ryzeal, is that a lot of your starters will also act as extenders as well. So we can turn the backup Ignister to attack mode, summon out Infernal Flame Banshee, and here's the other reason why I love Onomat Ryzeal, right? We go to detach off the Banshee, and then my opponent just concedes, because they realize that what I had detached was the, here, I can actually show it here, right? Yeah, the Go-Go Goblindeberg, which once detached can add the Dododo monster from deck to hand. So even though my Banshee got negated, I can still add Dodo Warrior, special, send Onomatsu Kage, special Onomatsu Kage, and now I can make another rank 4. Doesn't even include the fact that I still have the Gaga Coat in my hand as well, which had not yet been normal summoned. Or no, sorry, my Goblinberg, I normal summoned that. So I wouldn't be able to normal summon it, but I would still have access to another rank 4. Anyway, that's another reason why I love this deck so much. You just don't care about any negate whatsoever. Okay, so here is the deck list. It is slightly different than my initial build, only by a couple of cards though. I took out the Ryzeal Plasma Hole in order to add another hand trap. I think it was a third copy of Imperm. Just because Plasma Hole really wasn't coming up at all. And I think what made Plasma Hole so good in pure Ryzeal in the past was the ability to make a rank 4 on the opponent's turn. But with the current setup, we're not ending on any more random level 4 bodies to make a rank 4 on their turn. We're just making a ton of rank 4s instead. So I don't think Plasma Hole is needed. I don't think Plug-in is needed either. I almost took this out, but I decided to keep it in because I think it makes great insurance, which we did see in a couple of our games, right? Or at least I think the second and or third duel. It was the third one, right? Trying to use Plug-in in order to cycle more detonators. Which again, Eclipse Twins can already naturally do, but it's not bad to have yet another way to do that. So yeah, Plug-in, if you really wanted to play 15 hand traps as well as 15 one-card starters, you could play Plug-in. This build has 14 hand traps with the 15 one-card starters. Our one-card starters, by the way, are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So yeah, Automata Para and 7th Tachyon technically need another card in hand, but 1.5, you know what I mean. It's basically the same thing. So you could even still play more starters if you really wanted to. Obviously, we're not even maxed out on 7th Tachyons in this build because I wanted to play more hand traps. For the extra deck, I think that this is pretty much always what I would go with here. When I was playing Plasma Hole, I had Zeus in the extra deck because you can use Plasma Hole to make Zeus on your opponent's turn. But without that interaction, I don't think Zeus comes up nearly often enough. I mean, even with that interaction, it still didn't really come up that much, but without it, there's just really no reason to play it at all. So I put in Tornado Dragon. I took out Zeus and I put in Tornado Dragon, which is a very solid rank 4 that honestly probably won't come up that much either, but is a lot more likely to. Yeah, the main rank 4s that you're going to end on, aside from, of course, your Detonator and Duo Drive, as well as the Banshee you make mid-combo with the Eclipse Twins, is, the Gallant Granite, Dugaris, Photon, the Starliege Photon Dragon. If you have the ability to make an extra rank 4, will give your whole board target protection, which is obviously really good. And then, yeah, the rest are just general utility stuff. So like I said before, I think that Ryzeal is still absolutely a tier 1 deck. And I think that just because it got a little bit less consistent in terms of actual Ryzeal cards, doesn't mean it's any less consistent overall now that Onomatopoeia engine is here. And as far as like needing Ouroboros or Bagooska in order to do well, I can tell you that I only crafted Ouroboros after playing Magistus Ryzeal for a little bit. And I was still winning without it just fine. And as far as Bagooska, it's really not something I ever made too much while playing Ryzeal. So I don't miss those cards, and I don't think the exclusion of those two cards makes Ryzeal less, you know, a tier 2 or less deck. I think it's still tier 1. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you, as always, for watching. But that's going to do it for now. So let us move on to our outro. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Thank you so very much for watching all the way to the very end of the video, which by the way is one of the best ways to support the channel. Speaking of supporting the channel, take a look at the names on screen. These are folks who have been so generous as to either join as a YouTube member or subscribe over on patreon.com/Hexlex to support. There's also perks for doing so. If you would like to see YouTube videos early, as well as some exclusive videos that get uploaded to YouTube, but for one reason or another I decide not to publish, definitely go ahead and hit that join button to see content early, as well as some exclusive content. If you're looking for more exclusive content, over on patreon.com, I upload exclusive videos that are not posted on YouTube just about every single day. Whether you choose to subscribe over on Patreon, join as a YouTube member, or simply continue to watch, your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so very much. But for now, this is Hexlex. I am signing out, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.